All right, this is question 3 from the June 2021 question paper, and it's an analytical geometry question. This is the first analytical geometry question we're looking at, and I'm gonna walk through how you look at a question like this, because most students just run to the questions without having a strategy. You can actually save a lot of time by looking at the statement and analyzing the diagram, so that when you get to the questions, they are not as challenging as you think they are. So we're going to read the statement here. They are saying in the diagram, S0 minus 16, L and Q 4 minus 8 are the vertices of triangle SLQ. That is the first statement, having LQ perpendicular to SQ. So note, every time double check that whatever they told you in the statement is actually on the diagram and see what they're actually talking about. So we have S and L, S, L and Q. This is our L there. That is our S down here, and then our Q is here, and they make a triangle, right? It's a right angled triangle, and we know that SQ is perpendicular to LQ right there. So immediately what you do when you're looking at the statement, you're remembering all the things you know about lines. Immediately here I'm thinking, okay, I remember that there's something about perpendicular lines, right? We know that if two lines are perpendicular, then if you take the gradient of SQ and multiply it by the gradient of QL, you are going to get -1. If you read a statement and you do not remember this fact, you are going to have challenges moving onwards with the question. So now we've reminded ourselves of that important fact there. Let's keep reading and see what else they tell us. SL and QS are produced to points R and M respectively, such that RM and LQ are parallel. RM is right here, this line, and then LQ is this line, right? Same thing, you have to know, you have to remember that parallel lines have what? Have the same gradient. So we know that, okay, what is on MQL is equals to the gradient of RM, right? This seems like it's time consuming, but once you get to the first question, the second question, the third, you just realize that, oh, we're just checking our analysis and just answering the questions like they want us to. So the last statement is SM produced cuts the x-axis at 8, 0, that is the n. So we have this one here, which is n 8, 0. It's a line starting all the way from S, right? Immediately you should remember that in a straight line, this part right here, I'm going to use a different color. In a straight line, this one and these, we have names for them. We call this one, in the equation of a straight line, we call that what? The x-intercept, right? So immediately you're going to realize that the x-intercept of this line is what? Is 8, 0. And the same way, the y-intercept is what? Y-intercept is going to be 0 minus 16. So that if they ask you to find the equation of this line, you already have 2 points to look at, and you'll have your C value here. Remember that this this y-intercept also gives us the c value in y is equals to mx plus c, right? And y is equals to mx plus c, or if you want to do it like the other way, you're going to say y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. We are analyzing this. Obviously, in an exam, you're going to do this as quick as you can so that when you go through the questions, you still have time to go through them. But this is a tutorial video, and I want you to get used to this process while you're practicing. And then the last pieces of details are QM is equals to MN, right? QM, this line here, is equal to this line. And already you know that, okay, this M, what are we going to call this M here? It's going to be our midpoint of QN, right? So I'm going to say Q, and here, the midpoint of Qn is going to be x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 all over 2. Yes, it is getting messy because we are reading the statement and we're analyzing it and we're preparing to answer the questions, right? And then the last statement is T and P are the y-intercepts of R, M, and LQ respectively. T and P are the y-intercepts. Where's our T and P? Yep. So we have these points here. This P is the y-intercept of QL, which means the line QP cuts, the y-axis at P, and the line MR cuts the y-axis at T. So we have all of that. And look at this. The first question is, calculate the coordinates of M. And what happens is, if you don't analyze this diagram, first thing you're gonna ask yourself, what is M? You don't even know what M is, but we already figured it out. We know exactly what M is right here. So we're just gonna, for 2 marks, we're just gonna say, okay, you want M? M is x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. M is, and we're just going to substitute our values there of the 2 points, and we have Q and N, right? So this is going to be 4 plus 8 over 2 is 2 minus 8 plus 0 over 2. And the rest is computational. Just make sure that you substitute correctly. Make sure that if you're choosing your x1 and your y1, they correspond. That means if you're going to say this is your x1, if you're going to say that this is your x1, like we did, then this is supposed to be your y1. If this is your x2, this is your y2. That's how this is supposed to be. And then your answer is going to be M is 6, -4, and that is your answer.